Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of this Expat Live. And I am once again joined by a wonderful guest in my digital studio by Laura Burtonshaw. Laura is originally from London, where she started her career in a large global retailer. She wanted a new life and an adventure. And this took her to Berlin just over 9 years ago, just before Brexit, where she has been based ever since. And she's passionate about having new adventures and building communities. And at the weekend, you will find her trying a new sports class, attending a crafting workshop, leading hikes around the Berlin Wall, or hosting book swaps. Welcome, Laura.
Thank you, Amanda.
It is so nice to have you on the show. For the listeners, Laura was inside the co-pilot. She joined almost exactly 1 year ago because she wanted a change. She wanted to leave Berlin, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. But first, maybe let's just start here. Where are you calling in from?
I am calling in from Berlin, the same place where I was when I joined the co-pilot.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
So why don't we just start there at that moment when you joined the co-pilot? That was about a
sure.
year ago. What was going on for you at that time that you just felt like, I need a change?
Yeah, so about a year ago, I had recently returned from a sabbatical, a short 3 month sabbatical in my job, where I had had an amazing time traveling through Asia, reconnecting with old friends. And I was a couple of months back into my corporate job in a big retailer, and I was really quite deeply unsatisfied and discontent with where I was. I was really finding it like the job was very intense, but it was also very like unfulfilling. I was expending a lot of energy, not going in the direction that I wanted to go. I wasn't able to really like identify how to get myself out of this cycle of like wallowing and overworking and like non-constructive habits. And I had tried like therapy, I had
Yeah.
tried like one-on-one life coaching, but I really hadn't found them like actionable
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah.
I had found them a little bit too meta and a bit too thinky, for want
Yeah.
of a more scientific word. And I think I came across you on, I think it was maybe Instagram, and I joined like one of your master classes,
Mhm.
and the way in which you kind of spoke, it really resonated with me. And I was really kind of intrigued by the approach that you were taking with the co-pilot program.
Yeah, okay, that's so nice to hear. I would love to dive a little bit deeper. You said non-constructive habits. So you felt this discontent that you were saying is probably the reason why you went on your sabbatical as well. You went back
Yeah.
to the same corporate role and to the same
Yes.
location when you returned, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I did. Yeah. So, yeah, 3 months was the maximum I could take as a sabbatical.
Mhm.
Else I would have
Yeah.
taken much longer. And yes, I came back into the same role. And I think the non constructive habits were really just putting so much of my energy into my day job
Yeah.
and not prioritizing myself in
Mm,
a constructive way. Like me time was just scrolling on Instagram
yeah.
and daydreaming about things rather than actually thinking about what were the habits or things or actions that I needed to try and implement to actually make progress. Like I wanted something or someone to come in and change my
Yeah.
situation for me
Yeah. Yeah.
rather than actually like taking control of the situation myself.
Yeah. Oof. Yeah. I
Yeah.
I hear you on that one. I've been in that situation too, and
Yeah.
lots of people have said that with me to me. At the time that you were so unhappy, basically, and just pouring into your job, was your focus mostly on I need to change the job, or were you realizing I also want to change my location?
It was always both for me
Mm.
because whilst I have been, or at that point I had been in Berlin for 8 years, I'm very close to my friends and family back in the UK.
Hmm.
I haven't learned as much German as I should have done, having been here for 8 years. I still live in quite an expat bubble. I think Berlin is the only city in Germany where you can really get away with not
Yeah.
speaking as
Yeah.
much German as I do. And whilst I have made an amazing community of friends and colleagues, both German and expats, it has never really felt like home to me in the same way that the UK and London is.
Mm-hmm.
So I have always, yeah, been thinking about wanting to move back to the UK with a new role, because I also know that I'm a very ambitious and driven person.
Mm-hmm.
I really like to be busy. I'm not good at not being busy
Yeah.
and not having some sort of focus. And so whilst I have several times considered the idea of quitting my job and moving back to the UK without a job, actually one of the big realizations that I have had is that I can't do that. Like that is actually not me in a
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
Like without having like a significant, like whether it be like a huge financial safety net or
Yeah.
some sort of plan of
Yeah.
action, like I can't envisage at this point of time, I can't envisage doing that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I
but then
understand
at the
it. Yeah.
same, yeah, at the same time, because I was putting so much effort into my current job, I wasn't putting any effort into
Exactly.
finding a new job.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was my own worst enemy.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people have this, and it is, for our peers back home, it's just about the job that they need to change. But for people who have such a global life, the location comes with it too. And then
Yeah.
the stakes are higher, the risks are bigger, and it just becomes more difficult to actually move forward. And it's very easy
Mm-hmm.
to stay stuck. So take us then to that moment that you saw the masterclass, you participated in it, and you felt like, okay, I'm joining the co-pilot. What made you sign up?
Because I think I the kind of message really resonated that I needed to stop my wallowing and I needed to
Yeah.
try and like take action for myself. Like I think I did recognize that I needed to take more control of my own destiny,
Yeah.
having to and I needed to make a change, because the one I was in was just had been kind of spiraling for probably at that point maybe 2 years. So
Oh, wow. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. I think it's very empowering and even like sexy when at some point you say to yourself, I'm taking back control and responsibility
Yeah.
of life. Like a
Yeah.
lot of people just let it drag on, and I was in it myself too last year. And I think the moment that you take back that control and you say to
Mm.
yourself, I want more, I think it's so
Mhm.
empowering. Yeah. Were there any hesitations about the co-pilot or about this change that you were envisioning for yourself? Like, were there any hesitations before signing up?
I think the hesitations that I did have were, was I going to make the most of this opportunity?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that comes from kind of this wallowing discontentment that I've spoke about. A lot of it came from also like quite a low confidence and like self-belief that I could take control,
Yeah.
because I'd spent so long overthinking things without really taking any action that I was really doubting my own abilities.
Yeah.
And I was also really thinking about the options that were in front of me as being like these huge things,
Yeah.
and these huge decisions that needed to be made, rather than thinking about it in terms of smaller actions or constructive steps that I could take to really help my mindset in the short term without these big things happening.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Okay. So, and this hesitation of like, am I able to make the most out of it? Do you feel like that is something that has come up in other areas of your life too, that was stopping you
Yes,
from?
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, I'm definitely bad at signing up for things and then not doing them.
Yeah.
Definitely, it's happened in other areas of my life as well. But I think sometimes you kind of need to accept that signing up and trying is
Yeah.
half of the battle. And
Yes.
actually,
Yes.
that is not it's not a failure.
Hmm.
It's just okay, didn't work out that time, maybe next time,
Yeah.
or yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I also have that tendency of like signing up out of excitement for a lot of things and then realizing,
Yeah,
oops, I'm a lot busier than I thought. And
yeah,
it's also blocked me a few times in like, I wanted to do something big and then I thought I was doubting myself. Like I recently made a big investment, a couple of €1,000 for
mm,
something to work on with a coach. And I thought like I want this, but am I going to have the space in my life to actually make
yeah,
the most out of it? And I realized it wasn't a question about the decision, it was a question about who I was. And I really then
mm,
decided, okay, I'm going to be the person that actually makes time for this
mm,
right now. And that was
yeah,
really a big change for me. And
yeah,
also, I like you, I let myself go of like, I need to make the most of it. If it made a difference in my life, or if I learned three new things from it,
yeah,
it's already a success.
yeah,
And I also really trust that, and this is something that you and I spoke about just before starting the interview,
mhm,
that subconsciously things will be changing, even if I don't pour every week 2 hours into it or do every exercise, like I trust
yeah,
that things already start to change if I just open my mind to it.
absolutely. Yeah.
So maybe that's a nice bridge to your time inside the co-pilot.
Hmm.
I would actually love to hear because there's quite a lot inside the core content of the program.
Hmm.
What was maybe one exercise that surprised you
Hmm.
the most or gave you the biggest aha moment?
Hmm. So I did have a bit of a reflection on this, and I
Mhm.
think, I'll just check my notes here. I think there were two that really resonated for me. One was the Wheel of Life, and one was the Who's Driving Your Bus.
Yes.
I really liked both of those. I think the Who's Driving Your Bus is a really interesting one
Mhm.
because I think with my history of like really kind of like overthinking lots of things and having lots of conflicting thoughts and ambitions in my head, I wasn't always kind of conscious about how I didn't understand how to process that.
Yeah.
And so I think there was often an argument going on inside my head between the different people who were trying to drive the bus
Yeah.
or wanting to drive the bus. So helping identify those different ambitions and emotions really helped me to then kind of understand both how I was feeling in the moment and also how I've maybe been feeling in the past and how I wanted to like feel in the future, like how I could help kind of satisfy all those different thoughts that were going on in my head.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah. It is a favorite among many clients of mine
Yeah.
and for myself as
Okay.
well, because it just helps you externalize the battle sometimes that's going on
Hmm.
inside yourself.
Yeah,
It helps you take distance and also helps you to then make a choice who you want to lead going forward.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
And
that.
also what I found is like even if that person or that person, yeah,
Yeah.
I am, inside my head isn't maybe leading at the moment, what can I do to make them happier?
Yes. Yes.
Like actually, even if they are not the key driving force, what are the small actions that I can take so that in the future they could be the driving force, or
Yeah.
the smaller things that I can do, yeah, in the short term that help lean into that element of my personality
Yeah.
without being the dominant one.
Yeah. That is so that kind of work where we take embodied action and we really become
Mm-hmm.
already the person of our next chapter. That's module 4. Can you share any concrete thing that you did with those small actions that
Yeah, I'm not going to share the little pictures of the people that I got described in my driving my bus. But yeah, so really simple things like I am very sociable. I
Yeah.
always have liked to host people,
Hmm.
but my apartment isn't very big and I can't host a lot of people. But I I started very consciously making more of an effort to bring together groups of people at a bar or in a restaurant instead. So
Yeah,
yes, I
nice.
can't maybe host people at my house, but I can once a month say to everybody, my group of 10 friends, I'm going to be at this bar, it would be lovely to see some of you. Like
I love
that is
that.
a kind of a simple one that I don't need then to have a new apartment to be able to fulfill that kind of hosting
Yeah.
element within me.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love that. Yeah, that's really nice. Okay, so you love the Wheel of Life and the bus exercise. Was there any moment when you were going through the co-pilot that made you go like, okay, I'm really back in control now, or I know what I want, or I'm actively working towards my next chapter now? Like when was the change?
I think it might have been when we did and this is going back to a different exercise, but when we did like the belief reality loop exercise,
Yeah,
the kind of what you mentioned about the mindset and being able to take control of your kind of own destiny and really kind of like challenging the belief that kind of I mentioned at the beginning that I couldn't make a change, that I was then just waiting for somebody to make a change for me.
yeah,
Actually, that was a really, I think, critical one for me, because then that really helps kind of empower you through the
yeah,
other exercises as well.
yeah, yeah, it's very true. Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people who are thinking about the co-pilot, they sometimes are a bit hesitant because of the group, because they're very
Mm-hmm.
much like you and me, super self-reliant.
Mm-hmm.
We do things on our own. And then they see, oh, but it has a group element. I'm not quite sure if that's my thing. What were you thinking about that beforehand? And how did you experience the group?
Sure. Yeah, I was also a little bit nervous
Mhm.
about the group element of the co-pilot because, yeah, my experiences before about kind of talking about my situation in this way had more been like one-on-one through therapy or one-on-one coaching. But I found it incredibly beneficial, even as an observer in the co-pilot, but then even more so when you opened yourself up to hear the experiences of people that were so similar to you, even though they were somewhere else in the world.
Yeah,
Because I think a lot of the time, the challenge you have as expats and connecting with your kind of current friends that you have where you're currently based or wherever you're from is that everybody is living such a different experience than you are.
yeah,
And this kind of expat mentality, particularly when you have been abroad for a while, I feel like it kind of splits into two groups, kind of those that are still not settled and those that then are expats and they really settle in some place.
yeah,
And you then, yeah, I struggled to find people to connect to.
yeah,
So it was really nice having that in the group calls.
yeah. Lovely to hear that. That's really nice.
Yeah.
And now maybe after you've done these exercises, they gave you the aha moments, the group made you feel like, oh, I'm not alone in this. There's also quite a few wins going on that everyone celebrates for each other and supports each other to just keep going. After the co-pilots, so you are here now a year later. What has changed for you? Perhaps let's start on the inside first, because you entered feeling like I'm waiting for someone to take over.
Yeah.
How is that now?
Yeah, so when I was reflecting on this before, I was thinking, as you can, like from an outside perspective, maybe not much has changed from a very top line. I'm still in the same place, I'm still in the same company, but absolutely, if I think if I go a level deeper, like a lot has changed. Like I
Mhm.
feel a lot more confident in myself to be more in the driver's seat of what is happening and kind of my own happiness. I think I'm taking a lot more time through all the work done on understanding yourself and your ambitions better to really make sure that I am prioritizing myself more and that I am not investing as much energy in the things that are not going to bring me happiness or satisfaction in the short or long run.
Mhm.
Probably much better at my establishing boundaries is probably a good way
Oh,
of putting it.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I think also really I really see and appreciate the progress that I have made
Mm,
more than I have done before, because whilst I was kind of like wallowing before, I was always trying and I was always doing new things, but I wasn't always kind of appreciative
Yeah.
of the small things that had improved.
Yeah.
I was always still kind of fixated on the, well, you haven't made progress on the big things.
Right.
And so, and then I was just getting caught up in the discontentment of not having made progress on the big things
Yeah.
and not appreciating actually how many other of the small things were better.
Yeah, exactly. Because if I
Yeah.
remember correctly, during the co-pilot, you also started hosting something for women in Berlin, right? Like a meetup.
Yeah. Yeah. So for a long time, I've been part of Girl Gone International, the
Yeah.
Facebook-based group. And I have hosted events for them for years, but actually, yeah, at the time of the co-pilot, I had kind of stepped back from it for a while. So that also then did give me the motivation to start that again. And yeah, I do the
Yeah.
hikes with them around the Berlin Wall as
Yeah,
well,
that
which
was
are
it.
really nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
super nice. So these are just like small things in our eyes that we tend to lose sight of if we don't figure out our bigger stuff first. But to recognize these things,
Yes.
just how you're showing up for yourself and what you truly wish for in your life,
Hmm.
I think that's so powerful. And we often always delay things like, oh, when I've made the change, then I'll start my new life. And
Absolutely. Yeah.
or when I have more time, I'll do this, or when I'm settled, I'll be able to start a relationship or whatever else. And what I always try to convey inside the co-pilot is your life is now. And so you need
Hmm.
to give it the
Yeah.
energy that it deserves and the love that it deserves to make it fun.
Hmm.
Because that's also
Yeah.
when you're in a better state to make better decisions.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely.
It sounds like you
Yeah.
were really doing that.
Yeah, I'm really doing it. And I think it's still like a journey. Like I was really thinking about it in terms of this flying metaphor as well with the
Yeah.
co-pilot. And I was kind of feeling like, okay, when I maybe started the co-pilot, my flight was grounded. Like there was just a big storm and I was just grounded.
Yeah.
And now I feel like maybe I've taken flight. There's still some turbulence. Like it
Yeah.
is not like perfect. It's not always smooth, but I'm then better able to like handle the turbulence and
Yeah.
I am making progress. Like I don't
Yes.
think I
And
have like reached the destination, but it's
yeah,
getting there.
but you also know your destination, right? I think that became
Hmm.
really clear for you what you wanted
Yeah.
and how.
Yes.
And I know you are working on that right now. It's not like
Yes.
you're still figuring out. You've got that clear.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
really
do have it
promising.
clear. It's just understanding the timeline and when that might happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If someone else is in this position of like the plane is grounded because there's a storm, we're not taking off, maybe the destination is not even known. What would you tell them? What advice or tip would you have for like the younger version of yourself from a year ago?
Yeah. So I think it is one of the kind of quotes that resonated a lot for me from the co-pilot was about not being trapped by the linear thinking
Yeah.
of not needing to do X and Y so then you can do Z. So it's really the what can you do in the here and now to make your current contentment 1% better? What are the things you can do to help improve your kind of quality of life without those big decisions stopping you?
Yeah, I love that. Yeah,
Yeah.
great. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Laura, thank you so much for being on the show. It was absolutely a delight to have you share your story. I hadn't talked to you in a while, so
No.
it was really nice for me to catch up and also to hear how your experience was inside the co-pilot. And
Yeah, lovely to talk to you too.
yeah, thank you so much.